all right. What's going on, gentlemen? So, the Rams finally got to participate in the 2023 NFL Draft last night, day two, and they made a total of three picks. And I'm just gonna give my overall thoughts on what I thought about the night. Basically, it was exciting because the Rams had spent the majority of this offseason. And granted, I hadn't been keeping as close an eye on them as I would like to, but basically the whole team was pretty much gutted for the most part. We lost a lot of players, and the Rams appeared to be in a little bit of a rebuild. Okay, that's not a bad thing. Okay, a rebuild is not a bad thing. All right, we all knew this was going to happen after all the trades, after all the contracts to get these big name players and for our goal of winning the Super Bowl, in which they did. So it was all worth it. But now the Rams are in a position where they're going to have to start rebuilding the team with far younger and cheaper options, mostly through the NFL draft. And so the draft was last night, day two, and the Rams were scheduled to have, I believe, three picks. They made two trade backs with the Giants and I believe Houston. Uh, they just traded back a few spots, nothing too crazy, and then they, in return, I believe they got two mid-round picks, a fourth and a fifth, if I am not mistaken. I'm not 100% on that, but I believe it's a fourth and a fifth, an extra fourth and a fifth, and effectively bridges like this long gap that they had in between picks from like the fifth, fourth or fifth round. And so, what do I think? Well, I well, I liked it overall. If you ask me if I liked what they did, I liked what they did because the number one, if you're building a football team, the best way to do it, as I've always said, is you have to build it from the inside out. Okay, you must always build the team from the inside out and make sure it has a good, strong foundation before you do anything else. What's that foundation? The foundation is the line of scrimmage. Okay, that is the on either side of the football. That is the offensive line. That is the defensive line. And as I'm sure all of you know, we struggled, specifically the offensive line. Now I know there were injuries, but we did struggle, and that was definitely a place we needed help. And the Rams, with their three picks, pretty much pretty much addressed the line of scrimmage. We got an offensive lineman and two defensive linemen. Now, the key thing the key thing is going to be, and the most important thing, these players, are they good? That's going to be really the deciding factor, and we're really not going to know that until we see them in pads on the field in a real time game situation, not even so much preseason. I mean a real game time scenario in September. That's really the only time we're gonna know if they're good or not. But I gotta tell you this: I'm happy with Les and Sean and the Rams draft strategy as it stands right now. I like where their mind is at. I like the mindset. Okay, because for years a lot of us have been very critical of them because they haven't been what's the right word, guys? They haven't been prioritizing, more or less. There could be agreement, disagreement there on the line of scrimmage. Okay, now with this rebuild coming, it's hard to argue because they won the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So it's almost hard to argue that fact. But when I like their mindset. They're trying to build the team from the inside out. Okay. In day 2, they picked all offensive line and defensive linemen. Okay. I think we had, let me try to pull this up here. And I'll talk about these guys individually in a later video. This is just my overall thoughts. We started with the TCU guard, Steve Avila, with the 36th pick. I've heard good things about him. You know, I've been watching a little bit of film on him. He looks very stout, looks very, very big, you know, very good in pass protection. I read somewhere where he didn't allow, the draft guys were saying this on TV too, hadn't allowed a sack his senior year. We need that because Stafford has been getting pummeled. And like one of the big reasons we're not able to like attack the football deep is because Stafford has no time to read the field. And in like half a second, he's getting blasted by the D lineman. It is just aggravating to watch. So we need offensive linemen who are good in pass protection. And Steve Avila is. From everything I've read, okay, he likes the Muppets. I seen him talking about the Muppets. But I just, you know, I don't know a whole lot about him, but I am cautiously optimistic about him. He was the top rated guard. And that's exactly what we need. Offensive line help, but specifically the interior offensive line because we keep getting blown up through the middle. Okay, it was an Achilles heel for ours, and they addressed that situation. And whether or not Mr. Avila is good and he will be a centerpiece for us remains to be seen. I don't know if he's going to translate well into the NFL, but I like the mindset of Sean and Les's draft strategy. I like where their mind is at. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Finally, we are addressing the line of scrimmage first, making it a priority. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Whether he turns out to be good remains to be seen, but we'll see. We'll figure it out as we go. But I appreciate that fact. So I like the pick. I do. Everything I've heard, he seems, I think he's going to be, I'm cautiously optimistic, like I said. Okay. We then drafted, after trading Byron Young, okay, out of Tennessee. Okay. I'm excited about him too. Okay. I don't know a lot about him, but he has a lot of good measurables. He's very fast. He ran the 40 like a 4.43. I generally don't put a whole lot of stock into combine grades. I really don't. You know, it's cool to see how fast or how strong or how high a player can jump. But I'm more interested in how they play their positions specifically on the football field during the game. You know, that's what they're going to be paid for. That's what I want to see. Are they good on the football field? And Byron, you know, there's a lot of excitement for Byron. He looks good. He looks like a good, crisp, athletic edge defender, and that is what we need. Okay, we lost Leonard Floyd, and last year behind Leonard Floyd, we really didn't have anybody else, and now he's gone. So there is a huge hole there. There was a huge hole, and I believe it would surprise me if the Rams did not draft a second edge rusher in this draft. So we'll see. But edge rushers are important. We got another D line. Okay, we need to hold strong like the Spartans, all right? We need to have a strong, powerful line to keep these assholes in our division from running the football up and down our throats, all right? I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of seeing San Francisco run the ball at will down our throats, okay? San Francisco, who, and I got to throw this in here, lost yet again in the NFC Championship game, okay? Just got to throw that in there, all right? And lost the previous year to us, okay? So I don't care about this whole, 7-game win streak bullshit in the regular season. I don't care. I've said this many times before, okay? Do not care if y'all sweep us for like 10 straight times. I will take the one victory in the NFC Championship game to go win a Super Bowl any day of the week, any year, any week, any day. Don't care. Okay? That was a bit of a tangent. Sorry about that, but I just had to say that. So yes, we need good D linemen. Okay, all right. I'm trying to get back there. And with the third pick, they picked interior lineman Kobe Turner, another person I don't know a whole lot about, but from everything I hear, he's very solid. You know, they I believe the draft announcers call him like a spider or something. He's very good at like working around the O lineman to make the tackle. You know, the guy, you know, I'm excited to see what he does. I hope that they don't like. I want to see these players. Okay, let me try to be clear. I want to see these players contribute, really contribute right away. Okay, I don't want to see someone like, say, Kobe Turner, the defensive lineman out of Wake Forest, sitting on the bench for 2 years before we see any action from him. Okay, why not integrate him into the piece now? Okay, obviously, like I said, we have to see if they transition well. We have to see if they're good. If they're good players in the NFL. They were good players in college, but are they good players in the NFL? That remains to be seen. And if he's not, then, well, shit. But if he is, if he shows promise in training camp, why not put him in a rotation on the D line as opposed to sitting him on the bench for 2 years until he replaces someone like, I believe, Bobby Brown. He might replace Bobby Brown. Who knows? I just don't like get as much value from your asset as possible. Get as much value from your prospect while you're paying them dirt cheap money. I say dirt cheap. It's a lot of money to me, but to these players, it's dirt cheap. Okay, why not have him produce for you while you're paying him cheaply as soon as possible? As soon as possible. Don't let him sit on the bench and do nothing for 2 years. Okay, let him be a part of this rotation. All right, that's my one criticism, and it's nothing too serious. It's nothing too serious. You know, it's the Rams. I've noticed the Rams do that a lot. They like to draft people and like stow them away for like 2 years. And I'm like, these are the prime years where you're paying them cheap, okay? And you're not paying a whole lot for them, so why not extract as much value from them? And also young men, myself included, like most young men learn better by being hands-on. I'm this way too. Okay, I can sit and watch film. I can sit and like read on certain things that I need to do, like certain subjects. It doesn't even have to do with football, but like anything I'm trying to learn, you know. And there's merit, you know. There's a value in that, but for me, and I think it's the same way for a lot of these young guys. The best way to learn, where I'm able to retain the information at the greater at to retain the information as best as I possibly could, is by doing it hands-on, by actually doing the job. And in this case, doing the job is playing football, getting the reps, okay? So if there's one thing I would suggest to Les and Sean, more specifically Sean, get these boys on the football field, okay? Get Steve Avila, Byron Young, Kobe Turner on the football field. If they show they can do it in training camp, okay? If they're garbage in training camp, then yeah, don't put them on the field. But if they show promise where you're like, oh man, this guy's kind of good, man. I think this dude will be able to be a good piece for us in a couple years. Let's bench him. Stop right there. Instead of going, oh man, this guy's kind of good. We can bench him and put him on the bench for a couple years, and then he'll be a good piece for us. Instead, say, hey, this guy will be a viable piece and a starter for us one day. Let's go ahead and get him in the rotation a little bit so he can get his feet wet. Pardon me. But that's just my overall thoughts. Overall, I'm very pleased with how this draft is going. I'm very pleased with how Sean and Les have handled this. I like how they're putting a focus on the line of scrimmage and on either side of the ball is something we desperately need. And I'm looking forward to day three. At the time of recording this, I'm recording this on day three, Saturday in the morning. So pretty soon they're gonna have these remaining picks, and the Rams have a bunch of them. Okay, they have a bunch of back end picks, and we'll see what they do. I expect them to fill out possibly the special teams group, possibly another edge, possibly a quarterback, possibly a quarterback. We'll see, but I'll talk about that when that time comes. And just I hope y'all are doing good, man. This is fun. This is really fun for me. I know I haven't been able to record as much as I would like to. It is what it is, man. But this has always been very fun for me, very therapeutic. I love the Rams. I love talking about the Rams. I've been a fan for years since I was a boy, and to see them in the midst of a rebuild is exciting to me. I like watching the building of a football team into a good football team. And I believe we have a good structure in place. We have a good coach that can do that. Okay. We've done the whole superstar, big name contracts thing, and it worked for us. We got a Super Bowl. Now we have to take a different approach. Now we have to build with young people through the drafts and kind of develop them into working into a cohesive unit, which really is my preferred way of doing things. If you really want me to be truthful, I prefer you get young guys in here who are hungry, give them the opportunity to build not only the skills within themselves, but the camaraderie amongst each other. The brotherhood amongst each other over the years as they all get better. They all are growing and getting better together. That's how you build a championship football team. And I believe from the outside looking in, it appears that is the strategy that Les and Sean have chosen to come away with here, and I'm very pleased about that. Okay? So, I'm going to cut it off here. It was good to talk to y'all again, and I hope to do it as soon as I can. It will not be as consistent as I would like, but I will still cover the team. So, hope y'all have a good one. I will catch you guys on the next one. And as always, y'all, go Rams.